workshop. Today, we're going to be talking about advertising on Google. My name is Zach Bisho. I'm the field marketing specialist for the Southern New Jersey region. This class I marked as just advanced just because if you haven't had experience running ads before, this is going to sound a little overwhelming for you. So this is a great place if you know you run ads before on Google or not Google, Facebook or Instagram, because that's, we can get into the weeds a little bit and choose and target our audience. But on Google, it's a little different because we can get very specific and very in depth with our ads that we run. So today, where we're going to start is on Google Ads. You have to create a Google Ads account. Just go to Google, type in Google Ads. It will be the first link pop up. You create an account. It's free and easy. Then once you do that, you set up your account. You kind of skip through the steps that it has. It's going to try to start running a campaign right away and kind of giving you a walkthrough to their smart ads. But you can just skip that and get to your home screen. Once you're in your home screen, you're going to click on New Campaign. And then the first thing it's going to ask you is what type of goal do you want to set up for your campaign? It's going to give you a bunch of options. You can hover over these options and see, kind of give a description of what this goal is about, along with the different campaign types that you're able to run with here. And that's the next step. But generally speaking, typical of real estate agents, what we're going to be running are either a leads campaign or a website traffic campaign. Just because that primarily has to do with our business, and even other campaign types, it really lists, especially under leads, it lists all the available options, that you're able to run. So you're not missing out on really anything. We could run a brand awareness and reach, but we do have those options in both leads and website traffic. So typically, real estate agents are running leads or website traffic because we don't have apps. We're not really selling a product per se, and we don't have stores or promotions or anything like that. So today we'll be running through leads ad just to show you that we can create lead forms as well in our advertisement. So we'll click on leads. Then it's going to ask you to select a campaign type. Campaign type is dealing with where your ad or how your ad will be displayed, really. So we have the options of search, display, shopping, video, smart campaigns, discovery. Typically, type of campaigns really are determined by what you're trying to promote with your ad. So let this kind of be dictated on what you're trying to get out of your ad. So what I mean by that is what a search ad is if we go to Google and we type in, anything to Google, let's say homes for sale in Millstone, let's say that. When we type in that to Google, we're going to see the first couple links here marked as ad because these are actual advertisements that are being run through Google. So those are the first kind of listings or first kind of links that come up for that type of ad. That is what a search ad is for. And this is the example that we're going to be running through today. A display ad is those ads that we see on really any given website. If we go to a website and there's an advertisement for some kind of product in the right-hand corner, that's what a display ad is. A shopping ad is very similar. However, these shopping ads are promoted as products on, maybe checkout screens or anything like that, or the same thing along the lines with displaying them on websites. Video ads are advertisements that can be are promoted on YouTube, which is a great idea. And then also we have smart ads, which is Google's way of kind of organizing your ads and running them for you. And then your discovery ads, which are very similar. You run ads on YouTube, Gmail, Discover pages, and websites like that. Very similar to display ads. They're just a little bit bigger in grand scheme and in the sense of where they're going to run. But today we're going to be talking about search ads. But what I was saying before about the different, what you're trying to get out of the ad dictate what type of your ad you're saying or running. Just because, let's say that I'm running an ad, and let's say I'm trying to drive traffic to my website, I'm trying to get more exposure to my website, I would typically go with a search ad, because that then will display my ad and will go through the motions of how I can target people directly and get more people to my actual website. A display ad might be for if, I have a particular listing, maybe it's sitting on the market a little bit, and I'm just trying to get more exposure or more, engagement with that actual listing. I might use a display ad for that, or, possibly a video ad, just because then I'm able to, promote that listing with a picture or a video, give it more details in the actual, what's actually being displayed across the internet. So that's just what I mean by, figure out what you want to get out of this ad and then let that dictate. So today we're going to be doing a search. So I'll click on search, and then it's going to ask you what your goal is for this search ad. It will give you these options, but again, real estate agents typically choose website visits, phone calls, or lead form submissions. We don't have store visits, we don't have app downloads, so it's going to be those three. So if you're an agent that wants to, just solely, we're trying to get traffic to our website, we're going to click website visits. If we're trying to maybe get direct phone calls about maybe a particular listing that we're displaying, we can choose phone calls. Or if we're just looking to get our name out there and get more leads from people and get actual people's information, we're going to click lead form submissions. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to select that, and then we're going to hit continue. Then, because we selected lead form submissions, this is just going to ask you if you wanted to use any past lead forms, if you've done this before. We're going to start from new because we're going to walk through both. So we're going to hit start new. Then your campaign name is going to come up, meaning that you're just going to name this what is familiar to you. Make sure this makes sense to you and you know what this campaign is talking about. Maybe dating this and putting the area that you're running this campaign in is a good idea, just so when you see the name, you know what campaign this is and when it was running. Next is going to ask you for networks, meaning that you will display kind of like your type ad where this ad will be displayed. Since what we picked, a search lead form ad, we could do either both. We could do a search network, which will display our ad on a search type ad, or we can display it on both display network, which was that display type ad. So we could do both. I would recommend choosing one or the other. Don't be splitting up your ad. But we're just going to solely run a search network ad. But if you did want to have the option to run another one, you can as well, and split up and diverse that advertisement. Then if I hit show more options, this is where we're going to select the start and end date for our ad. We could run this continuously, meaning that we could just, not set a date, have no end date, and it will just run continuously and keep charging us our daily budget for that ad. Especially for a lead form ad, what we're doing here when we're having people fill out, leads, and we're generating leads from our advertisement, I would recommend setting an end date for our campaign, just because it's very important to be constantly checking in on our ad. I find it better and more, useful of setting an end date, just so we know when the ad is running and when it's not, and when it's going to stop. So we constantly check in on it and we constantly modify it. So coming in here, selecting an end date, let's say that I'm going to run it for a week. So let's just do the 5th of October. Anything else I wanted to show off in here? URLs, we're going to get into that a little bit later, so you don't have to worry about that. Ad schedule is just if you wanted to schedule certain times that this ad will be running. Not a bad idea for stretching out your budget, just because if we wanted to specify, running this ad at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. because we're going to think that's when people are searching for it, and specifying, that's a good way to kind of extend your budget if you're not working with a very large budget, and limiting when the time of the ad is going to be running. So next we're going to come to targeting audience segments, where the first question it's going to ask you is for location. We definitely want to specify our location. We don't want to just run an ad across the United States, because our business in New Jersey is going to affect people in, Colorado. So we're definitely going to specify the United States, but we're going to take that a step further and we're going to enter another location. Then it will give you the option of just quickly typing in what location you want to choose. I would take it a step further and always go into advanced search, because in advanced search, this is going to give you the finer details of where we want to run this ad, meaning that we can go by location or by radius. So let's say that I wanted to target let's say I'm an agent in Cranbury, New Jersey, and I know a lot of people from Princeton move into Cranbury, New Jersey. So I want to target Princeton as a town. So I can just simply type in Princeton, New Jersey. I can select that, and it will do that whole, radius of the town, the location, I should rather say, of the town. Now, if I wanted to get more specific and use a radius around that area, meaning that I can type in Princeton again, Princeton, New Jersey, and then it will create a radius around Princeton. The reason I say this could be more specific is because unlike Facebook ads, Google really allows you to target any or get down really as little as possible as you want. And what I mean by that is this right now has a 20-mile radius around Princeton, but if I wanted to, I can just do 2 miles, hit save, and bring that even closer. We can get even, more specific. You could put this radius around a single block in Princeton, New Jersey. You could draw lines, if you wanted to target specific areas within this town, like say I wanted to do Nassau Street, I could literally draw a line just around Nassau Street if I wanted to. Along with that, as always, we can target multiple locations. So say if I have a lot of buyers coming in from New York, I can target New York specifically and change the radius by clicking on the pencil and putting what radius I want, or switching to locations as well. So once you have your area selected, you can hit save. And then from there, by clicking on location options, I just want to show you this. I wouldn't touch this right away unless you wanted to specifically, but this is just another cool option that Google has. So under location options, we can specify our target. How it does this is by presence and search interest, meaning that if we want to specify if we wanted to target just presence people, that means that we will target people in these locations that we've selected in that target location. So if we just wanted to have our ad target people that currently are within these locations, we would click presence. If we wanted to actually exclude those people, if we wanted to just kind of target people based upon people searching these locations, so it's not going to target people within these locations, it's going to target people that are searching for those locations. So they could be outside of Princeton, but if they're looking for homes in Princeton, New Jersey, we would hit search interest, just because we're targeting those people now based upon their searching for that area, whereas presence specifies for people that are in that kind of area. What I would recommend, if you're just kind of starting out, and this would be good for if you're looking specifically for people in that location. This is for people that are searching that location. If you wanted to get into that, you have that option, but I would kind of recommend, maybe if this was your first time, leaving it to both. Usually you're going to leave it to both, but if you wanted to get more specific, you can, just providing you that option. So leave it here with presence or interest. That way Google will target both people that are in the area, but also people for searching the area. Exclude is the same idea, meaning that if we wanted to exclude certain groups, since we did not, we don't have to worry about this. So we're just going to leave that. Languages, if you are fluent in any other languages, definitely recommend putting in those languages here, just because if, say, I'm fluent in Spanish, or say someone out there has changed their Google settings to display only in Spanish, if we put Spanish in here, that will then display our ad also in Spanish, but only do this if you are fluent in that. Next is audience segments. So under audience segments, this is where we're going to choose interest or, kind of different, how would I say it, different topics, interests of people that we are specifically trying to target for our ad. This means that if sorry if you can hear that, it's pouring now outside. But this is for telling our ad who we're trying to look for or who we're trying to specifically target with our ad. So basically we're helping our Google ad know who it should be paying attention to. So in this case, I might hit or search real estate. That way, once it loads, I can select that. And then it will give me options based upon that or interest. What these are, so if I hover over real estate, what these are is that Google is constantly taking or keeping track of people's information or history, meaning that if someone's constantly searching on Zillow or if someone's searching things relevant to real estate, it then puts them in these little boxes like this. So we can go into these and select these boxes and then target or come in front of people that are associated in these boxes. So if someone in this box is paying attention a lot to real estate and Googling it constantly, they're probably going to be in this box that Google has put them in. Along with that, there's other subcategories like houses for sale. Maybe someone's constantly target or looking for houses for sale in the area. We're going to select that one because that's relevant to our ad. You should be selecting these interests based upon what your ad is dealing with. So in this case, we're trying to target people that are looking for houses for sale or new homes for sale, residential properties for sale, maybe even apartments for sale. Maybe we want to get in front of those people that are looking for apartments for sale. Maybe we can persuade them, or maybe they'll be interested in the property that we have. I would stay away for rent, just because maybe you are someone that looking for rent, but maybe not for this. We're doing this. I would definitely stay away from commercial properties because we don't really want to get in front of those people that are looking for commercial properties. We're residential. And you can go down this list and kind of see what's, interesting to you. There's a lot more categories and subcategories that Google has opposed from Facebook. So you can really get into this. Of course, we have the browse option where it will kind of take you through, who you're looking for and kind of set you up for the best interests or groups that it has. So really getting involved with this. Next, it's going to give you the option, just to show you that it has this option, is that you can specify if you want targeting or observation, meaning that if we wanted to select targeting, if we choose targeting here, this will only show your ad to people targeted in these specific groups, meaning that it won't go outside of people that are in these groups. I would recommend, usually more often than not, choosing observation, just because observation, Google doesn't always get it right, meaning that the people in these boxes, maybe, it doesn't have everybody always associated with it. Observation means that it will target people within these groups, but also it will take your ad outside those groups. So if someone's not in this category, it will also display your ad in front of that person. Observation's even very smart, where once it's displaying your ad in front of people in these groups and outside these groups, if it finds more success in people within these groups, it will actually then turn or divert your ad to more of those people in those groups. So observation, highly recommend. That's kind of the way to go. Next, it's going to ask you for budget. This is your daily budget for your campaign. Everybody's different. Everybody's business is different. Spend what you feel comfortable with spending. I would recommend, if you're going with a Google ad, a good place to start, or what I would recommend starting with, is $10 a day. If you can spend more than that, great. You can go ahead and do that, but I wouldn't go below $10. That's just where I kind of see success with these Google ads coming from. But $10 is a great place to start. If you can spend more than that, great. Spend more than that. If you can't, no worries. Obviously, there is a correlation between the bigger our budget, the longer time our ad is running, the more leads or engagement we're going to be getting. So just keep that in mind. But again, you don't have to spend $50 a day or $100 a day to guaranteed, like in this example, to get leads. You can run an ad for $10, 4 days, 5 days, and still generate leads if what we're doing on the back end is correct and set up properly. So don't be intimidated by that as well. Next, it's going to ask you about bidding. I really wouldn't get into this. This is set up as maximum conversions bids strategy. It works perfectly fine. I just wouldn't get into this bidding section just because this is more meant for bigger budgets. Meaning if we were Coldwell Banker and we were running an ad on Google for Coldwell Banker as a whole and we got this big budget to work with, then I would get into conversion rates, click per cost, that kind of thing. With usually our budget around $10 for X amount of days, it's not worth it, or it could actually hurt the ad more than help the ad with bidding. So keep it, don't touch it, keep it at the maximum conversions. From there, ad extensions we'll talk about a little bit next on the next kind of page, so we don't need to worry about that. But this is here where our lead form will come into play. So if we go into and click on lead form extensions, this is where we're going to create the lead form that we have the option to for our ad. Meaning that what a lead form is it's a tiny message and questions that come up to the person viewing our ad that can have them fill out the information to be brought to wherever we're bringing them. So if a person is looking at our advertisement, let's say it's for a property, we could make them fill out a lead form to then they have to put in their name, their email, for them to then be brought to our URL or a landing page that we want them to be brought to. So this is a great way, and this is how we get people's information like phone numbers, emails, that we can follow up with them, is by having them fill out lead form submissions. So from here, we have full control over this. We can, tell them who we are, Zach Bisho's real estate, something like that, or associate them with Coldwell Banker. If we wanted to give them a description of what this is for, having a little message in there just saying, please provide your name and email to be brought to the property so an agent can follow up with you about this listing, or have an agent or fill in your information to talk to an agent, something along the lines. Make it eye-catching and appealing so that people would actually want to give you the information. And then under here, under the questions, this is where you can have them fill out what you want them to fill out. So obviously, we're going to want their name, we're going to want their phone number and email. Typically, you could just have email, you could just have phone number, whatever you want. If you do it this way, you have basically their whole information moving forward. So you can follow up with them with email, with phone number. If you wanted to get into their city, state, zip code, you can do that as well. And if you wanted to have them fill out kind of short answer questions, meaning if you wanted to know about, their job or real estate, they have these kind of preset questions that you can fill in, like what price range you're looking for. That way they can input their own short answer questions, as you can see here. And you can make it multiple choice, you can make it short answer, whatever you'd like. From there, if you have a privacy policy, or if you'd like to use Coldwell Banker's privacy policy, you can upload the URL in here. If you don't know where Coldwell Banker's privacy policy is, you could just type in Coldwell Banker privacy policy and it will be there. I believe it's the first link. If not, you can generally search for it. If you don't want to use that, Google will actually create one for you, so you can totally use that. You don't have to upload one. If you wanted to upload a background image, you can do that as well. Then once someone answers your questions or your lead form, you can have them, you can write them a kind of thank you note or thank you screen just saying thank you. So-and-so agent will reach out to you a little bit later. It is 11:30 right now. I'm sorry, I got to switch this this workshop to an hour just because I always constantly run over this. But we're going to still continue. If you have to run, this is recorded, so you can find the recording in the comment section. But I'm going to continue because we're nowhere near getting done as well. You can add a call to action. You can get into the specifics of your lead delivery option, meaning of how it will appear to you or be sent to you. And then going through here, you would actually see the kind of description of, or the example on your screen of how everything will look. So if you type in a thank you submission, you will see the ad for what you're creating. From there, you would hit save. Yep. I think that just wasn't going. So then we're going to hit save and continue. Then we're going to get finally to building our actual ad. So here, add the group name, again, something relevant to you. Then it's going to ask you for keywords. Keywords, it's going to ask you for your web page URL. So since we're doing a search ad, we need to associate our website or wherever we're bringing them to that URL. So I'm going to go to my website on my home screen. I'm just going to copy that URL. I'm going to paste that URL. Then it's going to ask you to enter products or services where you could type in real estate. And if we do that, if you type in real estate and hit get keywords, it will provide us with a list of keywords such as this. What keywords are, if you're not familiar, is anytime we search into Google, homes, anything we search into this box is then associated as keywords. And keywords are what it uses, Google, a search engine, uses to then find you relevant links for whatever you typed in. In this case, since we're creating ad, we're going to use these keywords to then appear in front of people that are searching for our business or searching for our ad. So if we use these keywords, this is going to provide you with a lot of different keywords, and you'll see that it's trying to be in front of relevant people that are searching for real estate or properties or using a lot of Zillow, because people use a lot of Zillow. This I really wouldn't recommend using. I don't ever really use those keywords recommended just because it's not really a set formula, and it's going to be a whole lot of different keywords at random. So what I do have is, where is it? Oh, I thought it came out. But I do have this Excel sheet that has kind of a simple formula that you can use, meaning that I'll provide this and share this at the end. But under keywords, this is kind of a good place to start with your advertisement. So when I copy those and I go into my Google ad, under keywords, I'm going to paste this section, and this kind of just covers your basis, or at least starts to cover your basis with your ad, because we can target specific towns. If I'm dealing with like that example I said, Cranberry, but I'm trying to get in front of that location, that Princeton location. So if anybody was looking for Princeton, I can do that. I would just type in or copy that, paste that city that I'm looking to target. So I do this for each. Then we want to specify because some town names have the same name. So we want to specify that we're talking about New Jersey. So I would do this for each state. So that way, when you look at these keywords, Princeton townhomes for sale, Princeton homes for sale, Princeton condos for sale, MLS, Princeton, New Jersey, Princeton, New Jersey homes for sale. We're hitting on multiple keywords, and we're thinking like people would think on Google, and using those keywords and to hit and provide this search in front of those people. Another thing that you could do that I'm just thinking about, I don't see on here, is maybe providing the county that it's in, maybe Monmouth County or Middlesex County rather, providing that as well. But we're using these keywords to provide what our ad and who our ad should be getting in front of. From there, I'm going to hit save and continue. Then we're going to get into building our actual ad. So for final URL, this is where you want people to finally land on, or when they click on this, where they're actually going to be brought to. So this could be useful if you're talking about and we're trying to provide people in our example for properties in Princeton, New Jersey. Maybe I go to my current listings page. I type in Princeton. Let's just do Princeton, New Jersey. Maybe I do that, and I land, and this is their landing page, so they're brought to all the properties within Princeton, New Jersey. So I'd select this as my URL, and then as my final URL, I'm going to place that. From there, we have the option to display this link. So it's not going to come up as this link, but we can manipulate this link to make it look more appealing. What I mean by that is that when people see the link, they can also see Princeton at the end of it. Just because this may help my link look more appealing, because if I'm trying to target people looking for properties in Princeton, they go and see my ad, they see my link here, and then /Princeton. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. Click. That's what we're trying to get out of when we're creating our ad. We're trying to make this as appealing as possible to people that are seeing our ad, because we only have their attention for 1 or 2 seconds. We need to make this look like and appeal to them like this has all the information that I want, clicking on that. So from there, we can go to headlines. Headlines are the blue links provided here. Again, just some options that you have here. We can copy from this Excel sheet, because this might be a good jumping off point for you. But again, you can make this whatever you like. We want to make it appealing, capture people's attention, and think that it has to do with what they're searching for. So that's the idea behind headlines. You can see these come up on the right-hand side of the screen of how they were appear rather. From there, city, we would switch the city to what it has to do with, Princeton. And then I would take this a step further, because these headlines, and if we don't mark them, they will keep switching back and forth, providing different orders for these. I would make sure, especially in this example, that we pin these to 1, 2, 3. That way, every time this ad is shown, it's going to come up in this order. But if you wanted to, test out multiple headlines, give another kind of order or different kind of way that your ad is going to be presented, you can go on and on and on and choose as many headlines as you like. That way, this will keep rotating and appear in different spots. From there, you're going to hit your description, which is below right here. It's your meta description right there. Again, just giving you an example, we could use something like here. They're all titled, so we can hit add description. Again, we want to make this appealing. We have people's attention for 1 to 2 seconds. We want to make them look at this ad or look at, our search right here and see, oh, Princeton property search, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Maybe give a little description, click on that. So that's the whole idea, but you can write whatever it is you want in here in your description or in your headline. From there, we're going to click. Now we basically have our ad completed and how it will be displayed. So we can see the preview of how it will look on mobile when people search and our ad is coming in front of them, or on their desktop. From there, I'm going to hit save and continue. And then you're going to come to the review stage. This isn't just coming up how you would like it. Typically what we see, because I have not uploaded my billing information, my card information is not in here. But it would give you a whole overview of what your ad is, when it's going to run, how it's going to run, the keywords, and you can come back here, edit anything at any time. And then once your card information is up, you would hit publish, and then it would start running immediately, or when you designated that campaign to run. From there, let's say that this ad was now running, it's out there, it's going to start running. It is very important to come back to your Google Ads account under all campaigns. This is where you would see your campaign running, meaning that we would see it's running, we could see how much engagement it is, and most importantly, we would see any leads that come in. Make sure that if you see any new leads come into your ad, follow up with those leads immediately. Those are people reaching out or giving you their phone numbers and emails. Follow up with them immediately. You will have much more success with your leads if you follow up with that person 30 minutes from them giving you the information, as opposed to 2 weeks when they forgot about what they signed up for or forgot about what it is. So very, very important, very, very important. Always check in on your ads, see how they're performing, and follow up those leads that it's generating for you immediately. With that being said, does anybody have any questions?